I've kind of been putting off writing my review for the Krotons primarily because I didn't really feel like I had much more to say about it. I've never really heard this episode discussed much, and after seeing it, I get why that is. This is an episode that absolutely just kind of blends into the background, and after you're finished with it, you just kind of forget about it. There's nothing in this one that really stands out. It just exists. It does little right and a good amount wrong, and nothing horrible enough to be remembered for. The really bad episodes are remembered and stand out. Things like Time in the Ronnie and the Twin Dilemma really stand out because they are so bad. But an episode like this, I almost hesitate to call it bad because its quality level just feels so middle of the road. So in this episode, we go to this planet where there's a civilization and they have a very familiar sort of relationship with the titular Krotons. It's the kind of thing that we've seen before, and it's not particularly interesting. Like, it's kind of got some levels of curiosity in terms of, oh, how are these two connected? But you watch it and you just find, oh, actually, I've seen this before, and it's not that interesting. And most of the supporting characters in this one aren't really good. They're not horrible, but they aren't good, and they are at times poor enough that they do distract from the actual episodes because the performances just aren't very good, and this story doesn't feel innovative in any way. It really doesn't do anything interesting or remarkable at all. It just exists. And this is the first script by Robert Holmes, which is interesting because he is one of the best regarded writers for Classic Who, but this story doesn't really show why. This serial is 4 parts long, and by the end of it, I was glad it was over because fundamentally, this one just failed to engage me, which is a shame because I want to be engaged, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. The best part of this one is our main cast. Patrick Troughton is good in this story, Fraser Hines does alright, and Wendy Padbury is okay.
The vandals, look at that.
Well, that could have happened to you.
My favorite umbrella.
So even though our main characters were varying levels of pretty good, and the actors portraying them as well, they actually weren't focused on too much in the story itself, and a big focus was on the titular Krotons, and essentially everything that wasn't interesting about the actual story. If you've been following my classic Doctor Who reviews on this channel, then you'll probably know that this one feels very much like a Season 3 story to me. It doesn't do anything of note, it's not particularly important, it doesn't really interest me all that much, but at the same time, I struggle to call it bad. This one just kind of happened, and it feels a bit like I wasted my time with it. Overall, I thought the Krotons was okay. It didn't do a ton wrong, but it didn't do much of anything right either, and as a result, it's one of the much lesser episodes of the classic series that I've seen so far. This one was a bit of a disappointing affair, and I'm going to give the Krotons a rating of 5.5 out of 10. Season 6 is shaping up to be a little bit of a mixed season, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but it is a little bit of a shame given that it's Troughton's final season as the Doctor. Of course, it is hard to be certain halfway through, but this is just how it is looking based on these first 4 stories. I have already seen the final 3, and I will tell you how I feel about them in these next 3 reviews, and the season on the whole in the overview season review that comes out after those. And that's going to do it for this review, everybody. If you have any thoughts on the Krotons, be sure to leave them down below. I'll be very interested in your thoughts on this story, if you feel like sharing them. And I hope to see you around this upcoming Sunday for my review of The Seeds of Death. I hope that you'll be around for that one, but if not, that is totally cool, so long as you know that I appreciate your time here today. And with that said, thank you very much for watching, take care, and have a lovely week.